Okay, so the entrance to the tunnels, one of the great things about this, the temperature in the tunnels is about 15 degrees lower than it is outside. So if you're getting yourself too hot, if you need a rest, get down here, get a couple of layers down, and you'll be fine.
Okay guys, so we're in the tunnels and you can see we've just come to the light, so we've got no night vision at all, so unless we use some artificial lighting we simply won't be able to operate. So if the guys switch on some of their tactical flashlights we can start to get a better feel what's here. So obviously if we can see the enemy they can see us, so we need to be thinking about our light discipline. Now again Campbell, you spent probably more time in the tunnels than everybody else put together. What are your impressions of it?
The tunnels is a really cool complex, so it's 5 levels altogether. We're going to take a walk along in a minute. There's a couple of up sections, a few down sections, and they go even deeper into the complex. So let's go for a walk and see what we can see.
So I guess it's fair to say you need to watch what you're doing underground. There's a lot of debris around, that's part of the experience, and when you do find a flight of steps they tend to be very, very steep, yeah? And they tend to be, it's fair to say Campbell, they're bottlenecks. There's generally quite hard fights around the stairs, would you agree?
Yeah, definitely, particularly this one here. There is another entrance up the top, so you have got fresh meat coming in. You can have been down here.
Yeah. And then you've got multiple options in terms of where you're going, lots of rooms.
So this room here, in the corner you can see just about see a corridor there. That goes off to the left, turn left again, and then there is another flight of steps going up, but it's a dead end. There is no exit up there.
So you can find yourself cut off on your own without
and
really
disorientated quite quickly and easily. Another set of steps going down here. This one goes down into a room, but then further set of steps which goes up to another entrance. Now Mike yesterday had some fun in this room down here.
Yeah, I was here, yeah.
He was fighting.
Okay, so we'll maybe talk through a fairly typical firefight that happened yesterday. I've been in the tunnels and fought in the tunnels many times, and that one is probably a good example of what you can expect to see. So I came to the fight fairly late through this flight of stairs, so we'll come down to you. I spent the entire firefight basically just curled up on the stairs here with a pistol, just trying to cover 2 approaches on my own. In an ideal world you would be in a much larger squad and you'd be able to sort of cover all the potential approaches, but that just doesn't happen in reality. Usually you find yourself separated from your own squad and you tend to just attach yourself, you become a mixed unit with anybody else in your team that you find. And so that was me. I didn't fire a shot here, I was just protecting. I must admit I felt really, really uncomfortable. Coming down into the room, we stepped into the middle of a firefight with Mike and Ryan, I guess. Was it?
It was just me in this room. Ryan was actually in the adjacent tunnel, putting fire down on the guys at this end. This room's quite long. Now, what Al was saying about being low on the stairs, that's where I started, because these guys are on the lower level and they're firing up at our stairs, so I had to lie down to begin with to suppress them on there.
So let's move on then, Campbell. What else have you got to show us?
So this is a great example. This is another small flight down steps. We're going to go down here, which will show you how quickly we can get deeper into the complex.
You notice the temperature's dropping a lot.
The temperature's dropping a lot, which is great. Again, if you are feeling fatigued, get down here. And you see we have another set of steps. So we go down another layer.
Again, a lot of debris on the floor, some of the rooms, you've got to be aware of that. You can hear the acoustics. This isn't a particularly big room, but we're quite far underground now, I guess.
Yeah, this will be the
third level,
down, maybe? Third layer down, corner still. And then steps at the end going up, so this actually takes you in a horseshoe.
Remember this one?
You can get very easily caught in this room.
Yeah. And again, watch your head, some of the doorways are quite low, so unless you're a hobbit, real danger of it. Yeah, there you go, that's what I'm talking about. So you need to spend as much time looking at where you're putting your feet as where you think the threat might be. Yeah. So I guess, Vincent, have you spent a lot of time fighting in tunnels?
No, not necessarily, but fair share of CQB.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it's on, it's on. Yeah. Don't try to defend. Offense is always the best defense. And lay down fire. Get in a better position.
And keep pushing on if you can.
Push on. Relieve your teammates and go head over head.
I think the big thing that we find is it's quite a frustrating environment to fight in. You tend to waste a lot of time, a lot of resource, taking one corner only to find that the enemies move back to the next corner. Of course, that's the whole purpose of this tunnel system. It's been designed so that a smaller force who knows its way around can defend itself from a much bigger force.
Exactly.
Very confusing though, I find, and very frustrating to fight in, but very, very exciting as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you don't use grenades, it should be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's limited pyro or no pyro rules on the island as a whole.
So no pyro rule on the island.
Yeah.
Mostly because of the fire risk. It's extremely dry here. It's all dried vegetation and woodland. Even a smallest spark, so smoking has to be in certain areas. Because if a fire goes up, on our first year here, one of the other islands, the whole thing was on fire, and you could see it from the mainland, and it was pretty spectacular, but also not great for the locals and stuff. So no smoking, no pyro.
So that's something to think about when you're preparing yourself for going to the island. So Mike, I guess you play a lot of CQB. What do you think about fighting down here?
It's great. It's a real adrenaline buzz. You're fighting in such close quarters and you don't know what's around the next corner, so you're spending a lot of time listening and then moving. You're very conscious of what you're standing on or kicking. There's debris lying around the floor, there's rocks, there's bits of metal, and if you kick those, someone will know you're coming. So it's about taking your time a lot of the time. And as soon as you know where there is somebody, you need to move to that position really quickly.
Just on Mike's point about debris, to give you an idea of how confusing these tunnels can be, on the island there's wild goats. They can come down here, they can get stuck down here and lost down here, and there's a couple of ex-goats down here, so you do see the carcasses and the bones and the skulls. So again, it's absolutely fine, it's nothing to worry about, but it can give you a bit of a sharp intake of breath.
It just adds to the overall ambience, doesn't it?
But the crunching of bones underfoot.